I do give a shit who wins the next election. And outdated racial pandering is one reason Democrats lose elections. When Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi put on kente cloth, I don't think it earned them one vote for their powerful emotional ties to Ghana. Here in California, we're now segregating kidnapping. Really. California doesn't just have Amber Alerts for missing children. We have ebony alerts for black children and feather alerts for Native American kids. What is that? We look for them by listening on the ground?
Bill Maher is torching the last little marshmallows of the woke left, and oh, it's comedy gold. You'd think wokeness had expired, but nope, it's still twitching, just like a cat that's been startled by its own reflection. Maher knows every sneaky trick in the woke playbook, and he's not letting a single ember slide. He's back with a fresh arsenal of truth grenades ready to make the woke squirm like they just stepped on Lego. So, as usual, slam that subscribe button and buckle up for episodes hotter than a jalapeno in a sauna.
It's not me who's changed, it's the left, who is now made up of a small contingent who've gone mental and a large contingent who refuse to call them out for it. But I will. That's why I'm a hero at Fox these days. Which shows just how much liberals have their head up their ass, because if they really thought about it, they would have made me a hero on their media.
Yep, it's true. Bill Maher has somehow morphed into a folk hero for conservatives and classical liberals alike. Not because he switched teams, but because he's one of the rare creatures willing to torch the nonsense coming from his own camp. While most leftist comedians are tiptoeing around woke policies like they're walking on Lego, Maher cannonballs right in, shredding them with razor-sharp wit and brutal honesty. But honestly, calling out wokeness shouldn't even get a medal. Wokeness is like reality after someone shook it in a snow globe. Twisted, messy, and barely recognizable. Anyone with a functioning brain, regardless of politics, should be waving a big red flag. Yet here we are, in the age of cancel culture, where stating the obvious has somehow become the ultimate act of rebellion.
It's not my fault that the party of FDR and JFK is turning into the party of LOL and WTF.
It's heartbreaking to watch the party that once cranked out legends like Franklin D. Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy turn into whatever this is now. Those were leaders who believed in national unity, economic growth, strong borders, and an unapologetically proud American identity. Today's left? They're busy collecting virtue points, playing identity politics like it's a full-time job, and cozying up to every fringe agenda that sneaks through the door, while the everyday American gets left on red. The party has rotted so thoroughly that even Democratic royalty, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., threw in the towel and jumped ship to the Republicans. Yeah, Kennedy. When a name that practically comes with its own crown decides the party no longer represents the America they once fought for, you know the situation is, let's just say, ugly.
Members of Congress tweeting things like cancel rent, cancel mortgage, and no more policing or incarceration. Declaring that capitalism is slavery, canceling Lincoln and Dr. Seuss, teaching children they're oppressors and math is racist, making Mr. Potato Head gender neutral, and now an emoji for pregnant men. Real, I'm not making it up.
For centuries, woman was a word everyone understood. No politics, no controversy, just biology, reality, and plain old common sense. Then the woke left barged in like a toddler on a sugar high, insisting that our ancestors, scientists, and literally every generation before us had somehow botched it. Why? Not because of new discoveries, oh no, but because they found a shiny new cultural battleground and decided to pander to the loudest activists in the transgender lobby. Their grand plan: shove biological men into women's sports, steamroll fairness, and erase decades of hard-won progress for female athletes. But they didn't stop there. Suddenly we're being told men can get pregnant, deliver babies, and even breastfeed because apparently feelings now outrank facts. This isn't empathy, it's pure ideological chaos. The woke left isn't just tinkering with gender, they're waging an all-out war on reality, banking on the hope that we're too scared to call it what it is, full-blown, unfiltered delusion.
Democrats have become like a royal family that, because of so much has unfortunately had children who are reignited. And the same thing can happen to ideas if they are also conceived in an atmosphere of intellectual protest. Maybe take the clothespins off your noses and actually converse with the other half of the country. Stop screaming at people to get with the program and instead make a program worth getting with.
The left's obsession with identity politics isn't just a hobby. It's a full-on political suicide note, and it's about to cost them any real shot at power in 2028. We've seen this tragicomedy before. Last year, they played the same tired game, choosing virtue signaling over actual governance, and voters politely yet firmly kicked them to the curb. Did they learn anything? Nope. They're too busy tangled in their own dramatic performances, seeking applause from Twitter mobs and activist elites while ignoring the actual problems that keep everyday Americans up at night: the economy, national security, and basic freedoms. Instead of solving real issues, they're obsessed with optics, hashtags, and the latest manufactured outrage. The left has transformed into a party of performance art, not policy. And while they're busy giving themselves gold stars for being on the right side of history, the rest of the country has already moved on, leaving them choking on the dust of their own political circus.
Look, even if you like identity politics, this kind of thing is antiquated. From 2010 to 2020, the number of people identifying as multiracial in America went up 276%. 1 in 5 newlyweds now are in an interracial marriage, and that number goes up to 100% in ads for Subaru. You couldn't do a remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner today because almost 100% of Americans approve of interracial marriage, especially with rich in-laws. And 95% of white women would leave their husband to marry Idris Elba.
Maher hits the nail on the head when he calls identity politics a dead end. And here's the kicker. America today is a giant melting pot, a chaotic, colorful stew of races, cultures, and backgrounds. Most people have already moved past obsessing over melanin levels. They've realized something the woke left just can't compute. We're all humans, and skin color, it's literally just skin. It doesn't decide your worth, your character, or your future. But the left keeps trying to drag us back to old racial battlefields, clutching grudges like it's still the 1960s. They spin every interaction into some epic saga of oppression versus privilege, completely ignoring the fact that millions of Americans live, work, and thrive together every single day. Maher's right. Identity politics isn't just outdated, it's actively counterproductive. In a country that's already blended and bonded, the left's fixation on skin color looks less like progress and more like a desperate circus act for political points.
As humans, we are obsessed with race, and that obsession can really hinder people's aspirations. Actress Raven-Symoné agrees. She told Oprah, "I'm tired of being labeled. I'm not an African American. I'm an American." She says, "I don't know what country in Africa I'm from. My roots are in Louisiana." And you don't have to agree with that, but it's a point of view a lot of people have. It should be respected. Morgan Freeman says the way to finish off racism is stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. There's even a movement now to ban racial questions on the census, and many of its leaders are people of color, like Professor Sheena Mason, who says to undo racism, we have to undo our belief in race.
Exactly. Step 1. Ditch the obsession with race as the headline of our identity and start seeing ourselves as one people. That doesn't mean ignoring differences or erasing the unique cultural flavors that come with different skin tones. It means noticing those differences without letting them become walls between us. We can celebrate heritage without turning it into a weapon. We can honor diversity without building fences. Unity isn't about everyone looking, thinking, or living the same way. It's about owning the truth that no matter our appearances or backgrounds, we share the same humanity, the same dreams, and the same right to live freely. The sooner we zero in on what unites us instead of what tears us apart, the sooner we can build a society that's stronger, smarter, and more unstoppable than the sum of its parts.
Today's Democrats should move on from identity politics. It's not working. It's not working for them or for us. Democrats are hemorrhaging the very voters they think they're pandering to. The Financial Times writes, Democrats are going backwards faster with voters of color than any other demographic, and suggests the reason is that a less racially divided America is an America where people vote more based on their beliefs than their identity. Exactly. Far-left liberals are living in an old paradigm. Americans don't fit into neat little boxes anymore. Who has the #1 country song right now? Beyoncé.
Racial stereotypes are falling apart in modern America, yet the Democrats are over here clinging to outdated narratives like they're vintage collectibles. As Maher points out, this fixation on ancient grievances isn't just tone deaf, it's a one-way ticket to political self-sabotage. While the rest of the country is out there building friendships, businesses, and communities across racial lines, Democrats are busy trying to shove every issue through the identity politics filter. That trick may have worked back in the day, but now it just comes off as tired, out of touch, and frankly exhausting. Donald Trump, on the other hand, got this like nobody else in recent memory. He saw just how corrosive and divisive identity politics had become and made a conscious choice to sidestep it, focusing on issues that actually mattered to everyday Americans. That's a big part of why he won so decisively, because he spoke to people as citizens, not as a checklist of demographic boxes.
Lil Nas X won a country music award, and he's black and gay. And a brand ambassador for the waspiest purse in America, Coach. The biggest new star in country is Jelly Roll, who was a drug dealer, then a prisoner, then a rapper, and then a face-tatted country music star. Not to mention a giant middle finger to the idea of staying in your own lane. No. In America now, you're allowed to be many things all at once, and that's a good thing, even when it's really stupid.
This is what really makes America shine. The freedom to speak your mind without trembling, to champion any cause that sparks your fire, to follow a faith, or none at all, and to guarantee every citizen equal rights and opportunities. That's the American promise. But the modern left? They've tossed a big chunk of that out the window. They preach tolerance while moonlighting as professional hypocrites. Say something, even mildly, that challenges leftist dogma, and boom, you're labeled, shamed, and flung into the digital guillotine of cancel culture. No debate, no discussion, just instant career-ending outrage. It's not about equality anymore. It's about towing the ideological line. The left has swapped the open marketplace of ideas for a sealed echo chamber where dissent is forbidden. And when a society starts silencing voices instead of wrestling with them, it doesn't just lose freedom, it loses its soul.
We're sloppy, complicated, and contradictory. 2/3 of Republican voters support weed legalization. And 41% of Democrats own or live with someone who owns a gun. Miss Marvel is Pakistani, and the winner of the last 2 NBA dunk contests is white. The new Captain America is black, and Spider-Man is black and Puerto Rican, just like AI George Washington. Latinos make up half of the Border Patrol, and the name of the coolest black dude on the planet is Lenny Kravitz.
America is moving at lightning speed, and the Democrats either evolve or get left choking on political dust. The problem? They're still clutching onto ideas and strategies that might have scored points a decade ago, but now, stale, tired, and completely out of step with today's reality. The country has moved on, but the DNC keeps rerunning the same old playbook, praying for different results. Newsflash: it's not working. When Trump lost his first election, he didn't throw a tantrum. He recalibrated, sharpened his message, and came back bigger, bolder, and perfectly in sync with his base. That's exactly what Democrats need to do if they want a fighting chance. Adapt, rethink, and ditch the dead weight of outdated talking points. In politics, you either evolve or become a fossil, and right now, the DNC is dangerously close to extinction. America is changing, and politics better keep up. Clinging to old ideals, silencing dissent, and stoking division will only drag them into irrelevance. Democrats can either embrace unity over identity politics and reconnect with everyday Americans, or watch their influence fade while those willing to evolve shape the nation's future without them. And with that, we draw the curtains on today's video. If you enjoyed it, smash that like button and subscribe for more fire like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.